Welcome, everyone. We're so glad you're here. And I am Laura. I am the owner of ODAA Virtual Assistant Agency. We are a small business agency that's here to support women in business, show them their power, embrace their power, and really help them behind the scenes with support and strategy, as well as the staff and helping out with the work that they need. So we are really here as a cheerleader for women in business and always looking forward to what we can do to help all women in business and really just grow. I love watching them and supporting them. So we are here for you.
Awesome. And I'm Angelique. I'm with Lady Powerhouse Solutions, hence the name Angelique / Lady Powerhouse. And Lady Powerhouse Solutions is a small but mighty project and event management, basically for women entrepreneurs who are on fire, lighting up the world with their passion and drive. And we help them achieve their missions in the most authentic way possible.
Absolutely love it. So together we are Fempreneur True Confessions
It's
podcast.
okay. I was going to watch it earlier and didn't.
Every time. Our mission is to empower women in business and life and really just live authentically. Hence the fact that I can apparently speak clearly. We do support each other in business, and we are non-compete. And just knowing that we're here, we'd much rather help each other, whether we're in the straight or in the same field or not. That is really what we're here. We achieve our missions in the most authentic way possible.
Yeah. We want to normalize the struggle that fempreneurs have and share the lessons that we've all learned. The common goal being to lift each other up, right? Never tear each other down. Normalize what it looks like when female entrepreneurs support each other. We find that this helps build confidence. We've seen it. We've seen the women that are using their gifts and their passions to fulfill their life's calling. And it's just been a joy to see that and have those guests here. So the goal is to build, maintain, and grow a sisterhood that believes in an abundance mindset, sharing our struggles and helping each other rise to our highest potential. So, Laura, would you like to introduce our guest today?
Yes, I'm so excited. We've been waiting for Jackie. She is a wonderful friend and business partner power. And Jackie's a little bit of a celebrity around our group. So we're so excited. We have our own celebrity. Yay. So nothing gives this woman greater satisfaction than collaborating with her clients to grow their small businesses through branding, marketing, and web design. As a child growing up in rural Wisconsin, of course, you're doing R and a W together, right? Jackie's favorite thing to do was to kick her shoes off and run through the grass, dreaming playful dreams. And still to this day, living in Carolina Beach, North Carolina, she carries that awe and wonder of childhood right into her business. Along with a bit of playfulness, hence life is better barefoot, because who wouldn't love to imagine themselves running barefoot in the grass or feeling the sand under their feet? So don't miss this episode. It is definitely going to be a fun one.
Yes. Welcome, Jackie. We are so excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here. Just being honest, I got slippers and socks on today. No barefoot. It's cold.
Yeah, same here. I'm not barefoot today either, and I love to be barefoot, but it's freaking cold.
Yeah. What's
the weather like where you're? Laura, you're the most like northern. So Laura is in Oklahoma. I'm in Florida. You're in, is it North or South Carolina?
North Carolina. Yep. North Carolina.
Yeah. So,
and because I never go outside, I have to actually look at the temperature on my phone.
That's a good idea. Let's all do that.
64 degrees and cloudy here today.
Yeah, it's a little overcast here, but it's 71.
Oh, really? Oh, it's 60 here.
You know?
So.
I would take that. Would you wear a coat outside on a day like today, Angelique?
Oh God, no. I run hot anyway.
Mm.
So no. Laura, what's the temperature there?
It's 60. But you remember I come from Colorado. So for me, snow, 60 really isn't that bad. And I was, my dog is outside sunbathing right now. So I was like, oh yeah, I could be out there with him.
Yeah.
Oh man, what if I was still in Wisconsin, I'd be outside, shorts, t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's 64 degrees, but here it's cold.
Yeah. And so I have spent the last several decades in Missouri, and they actually had snow. Now we normally don't get snow in Missouri until Christmas or later. It's already snowed there. Now it wasn't a whole lot. My granddaughter sends me a picture of her backyard, and she had to point, that's the snow, because it only accumulated in a very small area. It was really cute. But yeah. Do you get snow in North Carolina?
We do occasionally, not so much here on the coast. But when we first moved down here, we had a couple different pretty good snow dumps. I mean, it was usually gone the next day, and then it would create a huge muddy mess. But
that's what I used to say in Missouri. I had a farm. Okay, it was a farm, but I farmed mud, pretty much. Yeah. Every time it rained, I had plenty of mud.
So when we first got to the coast, we moved into our house. It was like 3:00 in the morning when we got here, and we looked out the back like really early the next morning, and there was like white on the ground, and it was March, and I'm like, oh my God, is that really snow? Like, did it really freaking snow here overnight? What the heck? We didn't move far enough south, right? And then I realized it was sand. Not used to having sand in my backyard, but that was pretty much our backyard was sand and weeds.
So why don't you introduce your co-host, Jackie, your 4 co-hosts that you have there, the furry ones.
So I have guilty. There's Callie right in the front, and we have Lucy, who does not look happy. She's the one on the blanket. And then Oakley's over there looking all pretty in the background, and Princess Etta is sleeping over on the couch. So,
oh yes, on her couch, the princess.
Yes, do not normally get all of them on the bed at the same time, except for when I'm sleeping, and they're all at my feet.
Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Foot warmers.
Yeah. Until I try to move, and then they don't move. They don't budge.
Just be glad they're not big dogs, because no.
Yeah. So that's that. I forgot what I was going to say. I had a thought, but then it was gone.
That's okay. Middle age. Welcome to our world, right? So, and the reason I wanted to make sure that we introduced the furry co-host is because the furry co-host, especially Callie, likes to get up to some mischief. So if any crashing happens, you just do what you got to do, babe. Okay? We understand.
Absolutely. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like,
it never fails. Like you get on a Zoom call, you get on some kind of live thing that you can't possibly stop or wait, excuse me, can you hold please? No, and then they do some, fun shit. So
absolutely.
Right. So one of the topics that you indicated you wanted to talk about was closing down your cabinet business and then taking this entrepreneurial leap. And, I don't think I've really ever heard this story. And what I found really, really neat, though, was that in your application, it's not really an application, it's just an intake form, but you say in big letters, believing that I could do it. And then in big letters, for me. So this entrepreneurial leap from this cabinet business to this entrepreneurial space was for you, right?
It was. So really quick synopsis of how the cabinet business started. So my husband and I got married in 2016, June 12th, 2016. And March of that year, he decided that he was tired of working for other people. He'd always worked for one of the big box stores doing kitchen design. And he was just tired of the way they were treated as employees and how the clients were treated as well. So with my background in technology and working from home for 4 years prior to that, I was able to help him kind of learn how to do remote cabinet design and, you know, how to kind of set up the processes and make it work. And we made a really good go of that. And then, so we started that in March. We got married in June. And then I think it was September, October. He's like, I want to open a showroom. And I'm like, okay, cool. So that's a lot more overhead. That's rent. That's, you know, putting in the displays. That's, you know, all of those things. And I'm like, okay, if you want to do it, then let's do it. I'm 100% on board. We found a little place locally. We moved in. It was awesome. We loved it. And I'm assuming it's the same in Florida as it is here. This place is growing leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
And
Coastal towns,
the trades. I mean, all over trades are dwindling. There are not enough blue collar workers. We had a hard time finding staff, like finding people to help him install the cabinet. So I was doing the marketing and the accounting. I love the marketing part, the accounting stuff, not so much, you know. I love meeting with customers and, you know, doing the design. I built 2 websites in the 3 years we were in business, did all of our social media. And I really enjoyed that. I would go out and help him install. He wouldn't really let me run too many power tools. I got really good with the cordless drill, but that was about the extent of it. Tape measures and my eyesight didn't work very well. I'm like, I think it's like a quarter or half. I'm not sure.
Oh no, fractions.
And then there's math.
Right, and math.
Yeah. And so, you know, I did what I could. My sons would help, you know, when they could. But it just got to the point where he came in one day and we had talked about shutting it down. You know, we had really, all of our customers had been happy. We gave them the, you know, the great experience. We made a profit every year. And he was just like, I can't do it anymore. He was burned out. He was burned out. You're
doing all the things.
He needed Lisa Hammet's book.
Yeah.
And so,
good plug. Thanks.
You're welcome. You know, and he came into the showroom and he's like, I'm done. I can't do it. I shut it down. I mean, if he'd have had a match and we weren't renting the building, he probably would have burned it down because, you know, he was just that overwhelmed and frustrated. And, you know, he just wanted to design and I get that. So we let the property manager know, and we, you know, moved all of our stuff out, and it was tough. It was hard. It was, you know, it was kind of a reality check. I thought we were doing good. I mean, I knew that there were some issues, but I knew that they were kind of growing pains. Right. And so we get to that point. One of our clients was like, sure. He was local. He hired him right away, full time. So at least we had that income. Right. But that left me going, well, what the fuck?
Now what do I do?
What am I going to do? Like, what about me? We have one vehicle. He had to drive like half an hour each way to go to work. You know, and I'm like, what am I going to do? And so what do you do when you had?
What did you do? Tell us. Oh my God, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Worked as a VA, right? I was an executive assistant for a technology company. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just be a VA again. And so I went back to Upwork and I applying for jobs, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so painful. Well, then I saw Kathy Goughenour's ad for the virtual expert program.
And where did you see her ad?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was on Facebook.
Okay. That's really interesting because I didn't see an ad. Kathy has this, we're talking about Kathy Googler. She has this special power. Her superpower is finding people, and she found me on LinkedIn. How did she find you, Laura? I'm just curious.
It may have been, you know what? I was Googling to get help about VA's businesses because I was further in, and my sister had said, you know, I was leaving corporate, and my sister was like, I just saw this woman on Instagram doing a spiel about virtual assistants, and she's making good money. And so why don't you look into that? So I started searching because I'm a researcher. I love my little rabbit holes. God forgive it. And so I found
no idea what you're talking about.
Right? Freaking research. But I actually I found her and I visited and I was
Interesting.
looking around. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. So you saw Kathy's Facebook ad and you were click.
I did. And I think at that time she was doing like some free 5-day challenge or something. Right. Well, long story short, I'm 52 years old and I still have trauma from when I was in grade school, like not believing in myself, didn't think I could do it. Did I want to go down the route of starting another small business on my own by myself? Right. Like all of those things. Do I want to? I didn't think I could do it. Like I didn't think I was worthy, right, to invest the money that I needed to into myself. And between Kathy and bless Mary Hanley and Sharon for calling me on my bullshit when I said that it was a money thing. And she's like, what are you afraid of? It's a fear thing.
Yeah.
What
it's never a money thing.
Yeah.
It's never a money thing.
And so I'm like, okay, then. And I did it. And one of the best decisions I ever made, but even at that time I was, and I hate to say just going to be a VA, I wanted to have a VA business. I had the idea of doing an agency, right? Because I wanted to help more people. And I knew to do that, I had to have a team. So I started doing, because my background is marketing and sales, started doing digital marketing because I could do the design. I could do the social media. I could do, some email marketing stuff. I could do some WordPress. I didn't think I was a designer. And so that was the route I started going. So that was in
2019.
That was, so we closed the business at the end of 2019. I started my business January 1 of 2020 officially.
I started in 2019. I went to Kathy's event in St. Louis because I lived near there and worked in St. Louis. I went in May 2019. So cool.
So we're just like 6 months apart.
Yeah.
And so I did that for a while, and then when was it? A little over a year ago, Allie, one of my clients,
another powerhouse.
It was around Christmas time. It was shortly after Christmas because we had an email marketing thing that happened at Christmas time of 2020 that I was like, I hate email. I hate email. I hate email. I hate social media. I don't want to post to social media for other people. I hate it all. Just, somebody wanted to burn it down, but that part of my business, I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to do that anymore. And she's like, Jackie, why are you doing all of those things when you're so good at design? And that's what you love to do. And I'm like,
yeah.
So
it took how many years though of trial and error, right? So you tried this thing and you learned, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And that's really what entrepreneurship and business ownership is about, is figuring out all the things we don't like, right? Are the
they call it pivoting, but I think it's just a natural progression. Like, you're constantly
it's about figuring out what we love and what we don't love. Right. And doing more of what we love and less of what we don't love, right?
Yes.
Well, you figure you went in with the idea of being an agency. Same thing. I come from corporate or team development. You can be an agency. I know how to rely on my team, and I know they all have their expertise. This is great. You can offer more, be more, but you still have to manage it. You still have to know something about it. You still have your hands in the pot in it. So if it's something you really don't like, which I realized recently in my own business, what I don't like, another thing, but when it's something you really, truly don't like to do, that's one of those things where you're like, even though I'm an agency and other people love to do it that I work with, I'm not going to bother.
Yep. And so a little bit on that, fast forward to this year, I did Amber McCue's Planathon. Was that last month?
Love her.
September, October, I forget. Freaking amazing, like blew my mind, like got me excited about planning. Now, Angelique knows I'm not a planner. I'm a designer. Like, but one of the things she talks about was the Pareto principle, right? Where, 80%, 20%, basically where you focus, right? And what gets your energy needs to be what's making you money for the most part, kind of. And so she said it way better than I did. But like, to me, that, that just got me thinking about all of these other things that I'm doing that really aren't lighting my fire.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be pivoting a little bit more, when I talk, and some of my stuff, I'm like, I've got team members, I've got them doing them. And they're not really enjoying it either. So I'm like, why are we even attempting to do this?
Yeah.
We have enough people in our network that if we need to hand something off to someone else, we can do
or
that.
refer it out. That's the thing. Do not be afraid to give other people work. It will come back to you. This is this abundance mindset. The scarcity mindset was to hold on to all the jobs and do all the jobs, right? And I get that because I went through that myself. I'm speaking from experience, guilty. Okay. But just what was it yesterday? Today, Laura puts in the Slack channel. Anybody do what was it? Stenography.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know somebody back, from like 20 years ago that I worked with that does stenography to this day. I mean, like when we were working together, she was going to school for it. And so I was like, I know somebody. And when I reached out to her, I said, would you be interested in this? And she goes, well, if I can't help her, I know plenty of people who can. And that is the vibe. That is the culture. That is what I don't know. That makes me so excited. I get so happy when that comes back to me, right? Like when I hear other people just line up that way. And okay, so you closed the cabinet business, you started your VA business, and then you found out over a couple of years, or how long did it take you? You're like, this VA thing? No, I really want to do design.
Yeah, I'm a little over a year, I think. Time has just flown since we started this crazy journey. But I'm pretty sure it was the end of 2020 when that happened.
So what was the catalyst, or was there one?
It was just the Allie asking me that question. Like, why are you doing these things?
I love her. Like, she will put your feet to the
fire.
She
has that superpower of just knowing what makes people happy,
It's interesting that it's a question. Like it's some random thing that somebody else has thought about, because again, we can see it for others. We don't see it for ourselves always. And then they just say, how about? And can be that simple. Like I've spent months at times going, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then somebody just says, well, what about? And I'm like, what the freak? And I probably thought about it for myself 100 times.
And dismiss it.
Hearing somebody else say that, like,
we disqualify ourselves. We do.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's I hate it. I mean, I don't like to use that word a lot, but disqualifying ourselves at any level, whether it's our creativity, our ability, our professionalism, our passion, whatever it is, stop disqualifying yourself and your talents and your passions, because they do matter. That's why you have them. And so that's one thing too about Allie is, I mean, she's like this cosmic, like gumbo. I love, like, because she's a writer and she's gifted. But when it came, because I hired her to write my website copy, because I'm a writer too, but I needed somebody that's objective, right? I can write. We can't write about ourselves. I needed somebody who was willing to brag about me, and she did. But she was so strategic about it. So she has this perfect mixture of strategy as well as this talent for writing and words that is just powerful. She's definitely a writing powerhouse for sure. Yeah. So now you're okay. So you got this design company, Barefoot Design Collective, and you went through a name change because it was Barefoot.
Barefoot Digital Marketing. Yeah. And so, gosh, I don't even remember. And this was part of the conversation with Allie was, what do we use for a name? And so she helped me come up with Barefoot Design Collective because I was thinking collaborative. And she's like, people might not know how to spell that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's a good point. And so that was it. And the more, like, I didn't really have a vision at that point of what I wanted it to be. But as I've been building my team, like, I'm so freaking excited about this team of badasses that I have, like creative women supporting each other, excited about supporting our clients. Super excited about two of them becoming certified website accessibility. I don't know if they call them coaches, people, so that they can help people make sure that their websites are accessible.
Yay!
That's huge, huge. Carrie comes from a DEI background, so diversity, equality, and inclusion, equity and inclusion, just Kara's been with me from the start. She's tried all the things. I think she's helped me with my social media. She was doing email marketing for me. And she came to me and she's like, Jackie, I just want to do design. And I'm like, so then just do design. Stop trying to do all the things. You don't need to do that. Listening. And I was one, I always said, I'm not doing words. I don't want to do copywriting. But in order to support my clients, I needed to add that as a service, not something I do. Angelique does it for me. I've also got Tracy. And between the two of them, they can write some kick-ass content. And I have the most amazing project manager who I need to call on, my bullshit a little bit more than she does, but she's very good about, Jackie.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So
I try to be gentle. It is not my strong suit, but I do try.
Gentle is not always necessary. I am and as being a New Yorker and being a very matter-of-fact, upfront, direct person, plus being in corporate where you're like, you have those coming to Jesus moments, I realized that nice approach works for a hot second. And then it doesn't get you the results that you need. So there always comes that moment where you're like,
this explains a lot.
Nice.
This explains a lot, Laura.
It does.
I'm talking about you.
Because it becomes that I can't be nice anymore. I've tried and it's going to drive me crazy. I'm not getting my point across because I'm holding back. So instead of holding back, I'm going to risk hurting your feelings, but this is what I'm getting ready to say. And then we'll talk after and the tears will stop and we'll get it back, right? We'll be good after. But in corporate, I was known for making people cry. And I didn't like that about myself. Like, well, you made them cry. And I'm like, every so often, we need a reality check. There's a truth check. And not to say that nobody's done that to me. I don't appreciate it either. But I appreciate it after the first few seconds of the offense, right? Like, oh, God. And then if you stop and you're willing, you're no longer offended and you're okay with it. So that's kind of my approach is this is going to hurt for a quick second, but I'll be here to help support you.
I had a supervisor that did that to me very early on. I was working at a large healthcare system and going through a divorce, and I was struggling. And I was, slowly kind of just letting things go. And she came to me and she pulled me aside. She goes, I have to write you up. And I'm like, what? Like, why? And she's like, well, I'm like, but give me a break. I'm going through this and this and this and this. And she goes, yes, and I understand that. But it's time for you to get your shit together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And by writing me up, it prevented me from leaving that department and transferring. And I think that was the main goal was, one, she didn't want to lose me, but two, she also didn't want to pawn me off on anyone else in the shape I was in. And that was a really, and later on, I very much appreciated what she did for me because it did snap me out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
And sometimes we need those, right?
Yeah.
We need somebody to call us. Like,
Mhm.
I had a subcontractor who was supposed to be doing things for me, and she missed one deadline, and I was nice and, okay. And then I assigned something else to her, and she missed another client deadline. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but this isn't going to cut it. I can't miss deadlines.
This is the
You know?
client.
Yes.
If it were me, different story.
I have a little more, I have a little more flexibility for internal projects, but when it comes to client work, you can't.
That's
miss
my
one
brand. That's
Yeah.
my
You can't
reputation.
miss 2 deadlines. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. So that was a tough conversation, and
Mhm.
and
And
I
building-
only take excuses for so long.
Yeah.
That might be the
Building
Scorpio.
building a team and having your own company, if you're not accustomed to that, it will either make or break you.
Mhm.
It's that change or die, grow or die kind of thing. And and working with small businesses, that is often too what we see, right? They're not willing to make the necessary adjustments in their own behavior and tactics and what?
You talking to me?
Am I talking to you? I didn't realize I
way.
was talking to you. I didn't. I swear to God. I swear to God.
Talking me too. Just
So evidently I'm speaking to you guys, but
I think you're speaking to all of us.
it was an observation though, honestly, that you either do it or you fail.
should it get off the pot?
My mom used to say that.
My dad used to say that. Yep.
So
I have not been ever quiet about the fact that through this process of getting the podcast going and stuff, there were a couple of times where Angelique is like, look, damn it. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And there were moments where I was legitimately just completely crazy busy. And then I think there were other times where I was being faced with, the closer we get to this, that fear was kicking in. And I could excuse it out, but not really face it. And so there were a couple times where she's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, well, and this and that. And I'm sounding like everyone else, right? I'm busy, I have this, I have that. And she's like, yeah, but this is what we said. And we could have did this and this and this. I could have done this and blah, blah, blah. And she just got real. She turned me to me kind of thing. And it was those moments where I'm like, and I wasn't always happy, but in the moment, I immediately recognized, because it's what I do to people too, was, God, I hate when other people
it is easier to receive it when you've given it. It is easier to receive it when you've given it. And really it's, just reflecting back what you already know, saying what you already know. And that is, we give attention to what we want and we don't to what we don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, Jackie, you were saying, like, I don't like social media. I don't want to do social media. So what do? You put it off. You don't do it. Or and when you start to grow a business and build a team, you find people who love to do what you don't. And you create that, what's it called? Like a dream team, right?
Yep.
And, I think that's what we're all in the process of doing. I know I am. I know I have people on my team that, they come to me and they go, hey, can I have a raise? And I'm like, yes, because I don't want to lose them.
Yep.
And so that's another point too, is don't be afraid to ask for more. If you know you're being you're an asset to the team, if you're an asset to the team or the company or whatever that you're working with, don't be afraid to ask for that increase or increase your rates. Don't ask, just do it. Increase the rates. Jackie, now I am talking to you. increase your rates. And I know I'm not the only one saying this to you, right?
Mhm.
And I know I'm not the only one saying it to other people, like maybe my bookkeeper. I don't know, but maybe Karen. That I know other people are saying, and it's true. It's so true. Jackie, as you've started to build a team, what has it taught you about being a leader?
Oh gosh. So I've been a manager before. I've been a front desk manager. I love being in the trenches. Like I love working alongside my team. One of my favorite times is when we're all working on websites in a day together. Like and just that kind of that camaraderie. I don't like the difficult conversations, but I can have them if I need to. I'm a mom. Like
Yeah.
I can have those conversations.
Yeah.
I love it. Like I love building my team. I love watching them grow. I love challenging them. I had a discovery call this morning for another potential job. And I told Dee and Carrie that I mentioned that we do website accessibility, and Carrie kind of freaked out a little bit like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I believe in you. I know you can do it. Just, just pushing her a little bit, pushing her enough.
Yes.
To keep her moving
and
in the right direction.
That's one of the things that I really, really loved about what Kathy Goughenour does. And is that she believes in you until you can.
Yeah.
And she truly does, and she actually have the mouse pad. She put that on a mouse pad. I will believe in you until you can, or something to that effect. And because sometimes I have bad days. We all have bad days. We're like, what the fuck am I doing? What did I think I could do this for kind of days, right? Where everything that could go wrong went wrong. Or none of the things that you wanted to go right did, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what we do as leaders, is we believe in our people, even when they don't, or in spite of their lack of confidence. But I think that it does have to be real. We can't just blow smoke. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's the beauty of it, is that we really do see the potential and the ability and the talent and the passion in other people. And maybe that is one of our superpowers too, as leaders, as entrepreneurs, is our ability to see that in other people and reflect it back to them and believe in them until they can. Right.
Yeah.
And it's someone like Kathy that teaches us to do that.
Right.
Or at least models it so that we can go, oh, hey, I can do that too. Or I agree with that. I align with that. And that's what resonated with me with Kathy, was like, she is always saying what one woman can do, another woman can do. And it's true. It's true. And it's such an easy thing to believe in what you do.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and that thought of, okay, so we're not competing. So you look at somebody like, how come I haven't got there? So then changing that narrative and going, if she can, I can. Like,
stop comparing.
Yeah.
You can't compare apples to oranges. You can't. You shouldn't.
Right. And everybody's journey is different. Like where I'm going with my business is totally different than where somebody else in our group that does web design. Like my goals are different. What I want to do with my business is different. And who I serve is different, Angelique,
and we're working different. We all have different ways of working.
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
Where some of us are like in the group are just so like well organized, and their foundation is right there, but they've maybe not led a group, or they're not as communicative with their clients as they, where it is, where some of us were really good at the communication side, and the organizational side may not be our thing so much. Like it really just depends on where your strength is. You play into your strength, and you realize the other parts of your team are there for a reason. Like you're not always the smartest person in the room. You shouldn't be. Why would you want to be? That makes zero sense in a business. And if you think nobody else has a voice, like you're the all and be all because it's your business and you know it. Yes, I know my business the best because it's my business.
Mhm.
But if I think nobody else can help or know in my business, that is my own setup to fail myself, period, point blank.
Yeah.
And it's a terrible place to put yourself in when you're like, well, nobody can really help because it's my business. Yes, the vision is up here and pulling that out is very difficult. But if I'm really thinking that nobody else can do this, am I crazy to think I have to accomplish it all like some miracle superpower? Insanity? Like, did I want to burn out? Like, no. So it's reminding myself and everybody
Well,
else.
and it goes back to Jackie, what you mentioned, mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Mindset. It's all about mindset. And you had a point, what Laura likes to call come to Jesus point, where you're like, okay, I'm going to change my mindset around this.
Mm-hmm.
So when did that happen, or did it happen in stages and phases?
So I keep dropping names.
Okay.
So it definitely has happened in stages since I started my business. Debbie Burns, Dr. Debbie Burns.
Yes.
Huge,
Who is going
huge.
to be on be a guest on the podcast. We can't wait to have her on.
She was a huge help in that. She helped me. One of the first things she said to me was to stop hiding my light under the bushel basket. And
I love Debbie.
I'm going to cry. That goes back to that trauma from grade school. And worked with her numerous times. She's a dear, dear person, and she has helped me see me for who I am and my potential. And not to say I don't go down that path of, oh my God, who am I? Who do I think I am to try this?
Right.
I got to stop with the people pleasing and all of that. Right. Between Debbie and Joe Burns, Dr. Joe Burns, the two of them, and, as I mentioned, Kathy and Mary as well, like just the coaches that I've worked with have been amazing. But I'm putting the work in myself too. Like,
Right.
I'm doing the hard work. I'm looking internally and I'm going, okay, what is the problem? Like, this really isn't that big of a deal. Get over it. And, if you need to burn that bridge and move on. It's okay. Because that person wasn't meant to work with you,
Bless and release.
Yes. Yes.
Really quick, you showed us your crystal that you were holding before we got on. Yes. So we all have a part of that spiritual, the spiritual divine and the alignment and the mindset. We all have similar beliefs in regards to that. And Jackie was showing us what she was holding while she's been talking to us, and what, and that. So there's always something kind of as well when we're talking about mindset and aligning and what we do and how we get through the days and how we learn to, fix our mind when we're in that negative and into that positive. And it was interesting to me that before we started that you had shown that, and I was like, yay for her, because she picked the perfect color for herself, and this is what I'm holding while I'm talking today. So there's little things that we all kind of do. I talk with my hands, so holding things during these is nothing I can do. But before I come on, that alignment, feeling in that breathing and that moment of what's my intent in these meetings and what are we trying to accomplish? And, so does that play a big part now? I'm curious about, like, how was it always like that for you? Or is it a big part of, as you've been doing this, that's become a bigger part of who you are as well?
So that's a really long topic.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I was raised Catholic, so we're just going to leave that at that. So I was raised with this certain mindset. Love my parents, love, my family. We were a Catholic family. Part of that trauma comes from that childhood in the Catholic school system. And only recently, probably since I met Debbie, my pink-haired unicorn, have I started to realize that, or recognize, I guess, that you can still believe in Jesus, which I do, but I don't necessarily know that other stuff, the woo-woo stuff, is nearly as bad as what they've taught us that it was. And this, I'm not going down, we don't have time for that conversation.
Yeah.
But, really since meeting Debbie, working with my client, Kim Woods, there for a while, I was saying the more woo-woo, the better for clients for me, because I just love working with kind of those alternative things. Doing the website for Kim Snow. She's the one that actually told me to buy this little baby. It's malachite.
And what is that again?
Malachite.
Malachite. Okay.
She basically told me, because I told her I don't like checking my numbers. She's like, you need to. She said, go find a green sphere, crystal sphere that's green, and focus on that and say, I have to. How is it? I want to, because it's going to lead to my success, and kind of use that as kind of my mantra. And that's huge. Like, just having that something to focus on. And I've got another malachite, but it's not a sphere. And I've always loved green, Irish roots. So green has kind of always been my,
yeah. Nice. Well, thank
So
you
I didn't
for
mean to
sharing
interrupt
that.
all that. I got you a little off course, but
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I don't think we should have a separation between what nourishes us spiritually and how we run our business, because they are intertwined. There is no such thing as balance between work and family life, or work life and
balance.
No, that it's a lie. And one of the first episodes we talked about that. And I'm totally with I'm blanking on her name right now. Laura, what was the second episode we did about making clean, guilt-free decisions? Jennifer Kim, Kem, right? So, and she talks about that being just a crock of shit, and really it's about alignment, right? What we align with throughout our day, our life, whether it's between work and family life, personal life, social life, whatever. Are we aligned? And so I totally dig all that stuff. And I'm going to put all those people's names in the show notes, because I think all those people are fabulous. Kim Snow is fabulous. Kim Woods is fabulous. So I thank you for asking that question.
Yes, absolutely. And I would love to go down that route, because that's a lot of who I am. And it's what made me who I am. Those challenges that my teacher in first grade created for me through my life has made me be more conscientious of how I treat other people. And,
Lots
and
of good
recognizing when things aren't done right, and being that voice for them.
I love it.
My parents did everything they could, but that was back in the 70s. You didn't complain to your parents about your teachers. Right.
Right.
Listen to the teachers.
This is a different breed for sure.
Lady Powerhouse has a book club, a little plug there. But one of the books that we did this year was about manifesting. Now I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to find the name of it and share it. But I learned so much from that book. And then one of the other books we read was Rachel. Oh, what's her last name? Adams? Anyway, we did a book with her. And so she's got the daily 8. I think it's the daily 7, because that's part of her company name. Can you Google that really quick, Laura? Because you were in on that book club, weren't you?
I believe
but anyway, so we do the daily 8, but one of the daily 8 is to look at your money every day. Look at your money. Where are you? And just look at it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to balance it. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to, just look at it, know where you're at. And it was echoed in this other manifestation book about manifesting. Same thing. Like and I just loved this gal who did the manifesting book, because she was like, quit overthinking this, because we all know, I know you are, I am too. I feel like all of my most favorite people are overthinkers, and but don't overthink it. Write down your goals. Write it on a freaking napkin. It doesn't matter as long as you write it down every day. But that was her thing. You write it down every day. Even if you write it on a Post-it note, it doesn't matter. You wrote it down. And what it does is it makes that mind, hand, body connection, right? Rachel, she's with Hello
Bailey?
7. She's with Hello 7.
Oh.
The Modern Day
Anyway,
Magic. Is that what
we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
I'll find it. We'll put it in the show notes. So, Jackie, thank you so much. This has been awesome. I know I say it every time, but like,
super fast.
It went really fast. We're almost going on an hour, and we try to keep it around 45 minutes. But I know I say it every time, but like, it just gets better every time. I just have so much fun talking to you guys. So we do have another guest coming up next week, and what we'd like to do is to show support.
Real quick, did you mention the freebie for Jackie?
I didn't. She's got a
freebie, or she's got a free website health assessment. And we'll make sure that we get the link in the show notes for you guys, where you can go do your website and get a free health assessment on your website.
And you know what? Jackie also has an entire toolbox full on her website, full of awesome tools. And not just for web design, but just for digital business in general. So check that out. And Jackie, we would love it if you would introduce next week's guest for us.
And what is Ricky's last name?
Smith.
So we have Ricky Smith next week, who was raised in a military family. So moving around the country and the world was part of life for Ricky. Meeting new people, making fast friends, and embracing difficult cultures filled her with a love of adventure, travel, and connection. These experiences have given Ricky the unique ability to understand the hearts of those around her. She recognizes others' fears, hopes, and dreams, and gives them a platform to be heard and understood on her YouTube channel, Faith on Friday. Sounds like I think I need to tune in for that one.
She's awesome. She does leadership training and other things, and she's going to be amazing. So
that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. So again, thank you to Jackie Barker of Barefoot Design Collective. This is Angelique with Lady Powerhouse, and Laura Brown with ODAA Virtual Assistants, signing off from Fempreneur True Confessions podcast. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.